Technology can be used to help students create, achieve, and communicate. We put computers and technologies in classrooms so students and ourselves can learn and grow. But sometimes, on occasion, technology is used in a way that catapults learning forward, sometimes in a life-changing way. And this can be introduced by anybody. It can be introduced by experienced teachers, technology-trained professionals, speech-language pathologists, high school students, fourth graders. All it takes are the 3 C's: caring, creativity, and courage. It takes the caring to really notice another person and see what they need. It takes the creativity to come up with new ways to use technology, something that's never been tried before. And it takes the courage to give it a try, because while you risk failure, you also risk wild success. And it doesn't have to do with any one device, because whatever we're using today, we didn't use 10 years ago, and we won't be using 10 years in the future. It has to do with those 3 C's. So I have some stories to show you what I mean. At a school for students with special needs, we had teachers bring iPads in, their own iPads, to use in the classroom. In this classroom, the students have multiple disabilities, and Carolyn and Karen are using an iPad with their students. The students' learning goals were to maybe track an object with their eyes or touch something, and they were so engaged by the visual stimulation of the iPad that they showed these new abilities immediately. Izzy's working with Jess. Jess is the teacher, and Izzy hadn't been willing to talk in the classroom. Jess had her using the app, and Izzy was soon reading stories back to her and becoming a reader. Leanne is working with her student who refused to use paper and is nonverbal, but he was identifying objects and spelling them out using the iPad, working on small motor skills, and loving every minute of it. Susan's working with her students with similar goals, but she has them working together, so on top of the other instructional goals, they're having a social lesson of how to work together, and they're loving it. Patricia is working with her students in a preschool special ed classroom. She puts her students together, and using the apps on the iPad, they are independently learning individually while together socially working on taking turns and working together. She finds the growth that they demonstrate when using the apps far exceeds other instructional tools. A colleague of mine, Bill, and I traveled to Tanzania to work with our IT counterparts on IT technologies. They had just gotten high-speed internet access. By just, I mean it had been laid across the ocean up to the mountains to Lesotho, where the college is. They had great ideas on how to use technologies, but had never seen these because they couldn't. So while we were there, they wanted to try out Skype. They wanted to try video conferencing. So we set up a Skype with my son back in Pennsylvania. And in those moments, as we talked and laughed, the miles fell away, and we all learned a lot about global communication and cultural commonality rather than difference. Kim Mi-hwan and Kyle are English teachers in South Korea. Kyle noticed his students were very competitive, so he looked on the internet, downloaded some games other English teachers had made, had the students in the classroom play them after a traditional lesson, and they were competing to demonstrate their English skills. There was such cheering from the classroom that the other teachers came by the door to see what was going on, and what was going on was learning. Maddie is one of our high school students. Maddie was working with fourth graders with ADHD and autism, and she noticed that they were reluctant to read. She turned that reluctance into opportunity. She had an application on her iPad. The students were starting to read and page through books, and they were so excited with what they could accomplish that they couldn't wait to have more time with Maddie to continue learning. Candace is another one of our high school students. She was working in a high school classroom. She taught a math lesson using her iPad that was so engaging that the other teachers in the school videotaped her so they could show her lesson later after she's long gone to college. Barb is a classroom aide. Barb had a student join her classroom whose first language was Haitian Creole. She didn't speak any English. So rather than let's just be, she had this idea. She used Google Translate to translate class tests and materials into English, into Haitian Creole from English, so the student could participate in the classroom. She and the student sat side by side with Google Translate open, translating between Haitian Creole and English. This helped the student create a bridge to learning English and participating in the classroom. These and so many others have used technology to catapult learning forward. They all had the 3 C's: caring, creativity, and courage. Wherever you are in the path of your life, whether you're a veteran teacher, a technologist, or a high school student, do you have the caring to really notice when somebody else needs? Do you have the creativity to come up with new ways to use technology, something that hasn't been tried? And do you have the courage to try? Thank you.